This meeting is being sent to a third party. Okay, that I don't have to click on OK, right?
You don't have to do any.
Okay.
Hey guys. Let me just make sure we can hear us. Let's see.
I don't have to click on OK, right?
You don't have to do any. All right, we are live on the interwebs. There are 7 people on. Say hi and where you are from, just like we do when we're here on Fridays, if you've joined us for that. It is going to be a little different. We're not going to have folks joining in on the Zoom. We're more going to be talking about the cruise. And we've got Ray and John here from RG Travels. They are the guys who make it all happen and make it happen very smoothly for everybody. So that is lovely. Feel free to ask questions in the chat, and we'll be keeping an eye on that and YouTube. And then we also are going to talk about the nuts and bolts of the cruise and what's happening there. So, Ray, you want to kick off the detail part of it?
Sure. You want to wait a minute or two, or are we
We
good
could
to
wait a
go?
minute or two.
Yeah, well, let's wait. Let's wait a minute because some people are waiting.
For those of
So
you
we're
who are on watching, I would love to hear about where you're from and where you're watching from. I know we've got about 16 people on currently who are watching. We've got Holman, Wisconsin. Where is that in relation to like a major landmark in Wisconsin? Because I'm in Illinois, so I probably know about where you're at. And guys, just so you know, there is a 1-minute delay between what we say and what they hear. So it might take a minute between when we say it to each other and when it actually arrives in a response on the chat.
Cool bean. Well, we're in Florida.
You are. They narrowly missed major
Yeah.
hurricane damage.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Terry in Las Vegas. That's very cool. I was there one time and I could have used you guys to plan this trip because my husband and I went to Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona for a marketing conference. And we thought, well, we're down there and we don't have the kids. I think maybe we just had one kid at the time. We're going to go to Vegas for a night. And so I booked a flight to Vegas, but I did not realize that I had booked our night with Vegas like before our flight was, or no, the flight to Vegas ended up being a day before we were supposed to leave, like totally, or a day after. I don't remember what it was, but whatever it was, we ended up driving from Phoenix to Vegas to stay there for one night earlier than scheduled so we could catch a plane to then connect back into Phoenix and then travel back home. And it
Oh,
was the
geez.
worst flight. It was the worst travel experience ever. And we were just totally depressed walking around Vegas with like
You didn't even go visit the slot machines?
I don't think we did. I think we had to spend extra money on a hotel or something that we weren't planning on because we had to
Mm.
book it last minute and it was just not cool. It was so boring. We were looking forward to having this great, wonderful time and I totally messed it up. So that's why I need Ray and a John to help make sure it's
Ah,
working great.
that's sweet. Well, that's
Let's
true
see, we've
because
got, oh, go ahead.
we do try to help everybody as much as possible and be informed about everything before they get on the ship so that they don't have to worry about anything except just enjoying the cruise and of course if they're quilting with you.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Oh, Cassandra's also on the Mississippi River. But I'm on the Mississippi, but in the Quad Cities, so further down.
Ah, okay.
Let's see, we got Denver, Colorado, Southern California, Fairfax, Virginia. We got lots of folks on. Some of the names I recognize from our Friday night and some I don't. So welcome to those of you guys who maybe don't join us all the time on Friday. We were saying a little earlier, this is gonna be a little different than our Friday night sit and sew in that we're not going to have folks come onto the Zoom. If you have questions, please ask them in the YouTube chat and we will do our best to answer them. And we're going to chat about the cruise. We've got about 16 people watching now. It's been pretty steady. Oop, I accidentally muted myself. We are probably good to start talking about the details, and then people can rewatch it later.
Okay. Great. So, as you know, we're really excited about this. I mean, this will be your second cruise. You'll be on the Celebrity Solstice, July 13th, departing for 7 nights for Alaska and the Hubbard Glacier Cruise. We depart from Vancouver, BC, Canada, and then we visit Icy Straits, Hubbard Glacier cruising, Juneau, Ketchikan, cruising Inside Passage, and then back to Vancouver, BC. Very exciting because you have through 2 full days of class that you can do, as well as the sewing machines will be available when there's no class being held. They're going to be your favorite machines, the
Baby lock.
Baby Lock, there it is.
So basically that means we'll have a tech on board, plus I know how to fix most stuff as well if something goes wrong.
Yeah, but we'll have a tech on board so that you can do what you do best with your teaching and that everybody has your undivided attention. There is also other days where we can still have a class because we're cruising. And on this ship, I believe the Solstice still, you have windows and so it's beautiful scenery as we're going through.
It
There's
is
one thing,
gorgeous.
yes,
It's just like,
Alaska is gorgeous.
it's like big windows. You can see out what's going on. And we're going to be on the inside passage, which I'm told is not rough at all. Most
Alaska
of the
is
time.
not rough like your transatlantic. When we
Yes.
went on the transatlantic for 13 days or 12 days, we were trying to outrun a storm.
We had a
Even
couple
though we
days
had
that were a little iffy.
yeah,
I mean, it
when
was
we
fine. Like
yeah,
a few people were seasick. I had a
yeah,
seasickness patch, and so I was
yeah,
fine. But
yeah. That was
but
a unique experience because there was a storm that was in the north and then it started going down towards the south. So the ship had to go 300 miles south and then back up. And then we had to stop in Bermuda, an unscheduled stop for a medical thing. But it eventually it calmed down, thank goodness. But that was
yes,
the first time that I was at sea for 6 days in a row. That was the longest I've ever been. Before that, I was on five. So it was a nice experience, but Alaska, total different type of vibe
you're
because
like off and on the boat quite a bit. But I noticed, at least for now, I know sometimes things can change a little bit. Um, you have like half days in port.
yeah,
And so I thought for a lot of those half days in port, we could meet for a few hours when we're still on the boat in the for our sewing machine classes. And I really am excited about our project. Can I talk about our project, or do you think we should talk about the stops first?
let's talk about the Alaska cruise first, a little
Okay, let's
bit, the
talk about the
stops.
cruise
Okay.
first.
So the first stop is Icy Strait, as we mentioned. Juneau, Alaska is where we're going to have well, first start from the beginning. We'll have a optional one night hotel in Vancouver. Plus, the following day, on the day that we embark on the ship, we'll have a shop hop, which will do a little short tour of Vancouver and also stop in and see some quilting shops so that anybody wants to, you mentioned earlier that they'll have to bring their own fabric so they can buy fabric or anything last minute things that they need to buy to bring on board the ship.
And I've
Then,
given the boys a list of shops that I think are going to be best from a modern quilting perspective, and that I think would be really fun to go visit.
absolutely. And we're hoping in Juneau that we're going to have our own private shore group excursion. The pre-cruise tour is also our own group. It's just our group, nobody else on the ship. And in Juneau, we'll have also an optional shore excursion just for our group to go visit some shops, quilt shops, tour Juneau, as well as stop in at a special museum that you actually know of and you are excited about because there's going to be some type of an exhibit there that has to do with textiles.
Yes, we are just gonna miss a um art quilter exhibit, but there is still going to be a local artist will have one of her art quilts on display while we're there. And we've been talking with the museum staff to see if we can get a private tour of the textiles that they have in their collection. So that might be our quilts, and that might also be clothing that has been worn in that area. So I think that that'll be really super fun to go through. I know a lot of us, we're quilters, but we can get excited about any kind of fiber art. And so to be able to see that, and especially how they store it, that's a really cool thing to know if you have a very special quilt that you want to make sure stays very nice. We can ask those kinds of questions of them, what's the best way to store our quilts and make sure that they're preserved for the next generation.
That's actually exciting. So real quick, the nitty and gritty about the cruise. Your cruise fare will include the stateroom accommodation that they choose, and then all your onboard meals in complimentary venues, including 24-hour room service. There is a convenience fee that may apply for anything that's outside of breakfast. Your classic beverage package, people say, well, I don't drink. Well, classic beverage package, do you drink sodas, wines, bottled water, specialty coffees, and things like that is all included, plus your beers, spirits, cocktails, and liqueurs. And then we have our gratuities, the basic gratuities, as well as basic surf Wi-Fi package. Includes all the onboard entertainment that Celebrity provides. For those that want to make this a family reunion or to travel with family, they have, well, I call it, you know what I call it, babysitting services, okay,
They
where they
do.
have,
Chantel and I actually looked into this
yeah,
while we were there because my kids are coming. But obviously we do not want my 5 and 11-year-old at the time to be in class with us. So they have what's called a Camp at Sea, and it's for different age groups. And it goes all the way up to teenagers. So if your teenagers are coming and they are at the stage where they just don't want to hang with mom and dad anymore, like they can go hang out with other kids their age. But it's really fun, and they have professionals who are certified with education
yep.
who are there leading the activities, and it's segmented by those age groups so that way it's age appropriate whatever they're doing. Like my 11-year-old will not necessarily be with my 5-year-old, and so they can have a blast while we're out having a blast. And they have segments in the morning, the afternoon, and then in the evening. So basically you have to go get them when it's time to eat, but then you can drop them back off. And then if you want to go do something in the evening, just you and your spouse or, the adults, there's evening hours as well. So if
It's
my
a great
husband
thing.
does get to come, I will get to do date night, which is really exciting because we don't typically get to have date night outside of our living room. So this is really, really
He's
exciting for us.
coming. He's coming. We're putting
You
it
got
out
to
there.
think good thoughts, man. He's going to find out
Exactly.
in 2 weeks if he gets it or not.
Okay. Well, it also includes taxes, fees, and port charges. The only thing that it doesn't include is the optional pre-tour in Vancouver, BC, or your shore excursions that you purchase with Celebrity, or the optional group shore excursion that we are putting together for just our group in Juneau. And
Are you
that's
talking about the
about it.
glacier?
The glacier.
We're going to get to see Hubbard Glacier.
We're going to see Hubbard Glacier.
Do we get
Now,
to
Hubbard
stop
Glacier,
at Hubbard Glacier or do we just tour around it?
what they do is it's like a whole thing that I think Hubbard Glacier, we're starting to be there about 9:30 and then we leave at 2:30. Once we get to the end of the fjord where the glacier actually is, the ship does a 360 turn one way and then it does it the other way. So you get to see all of that. There is a shore excursion, they call it a shore excursion, that Celebrity provide or has is an option for you to take where you're going to a little boat and you get closer up to it. That's also as an additional cost, and that's what the Celebrity will offer. Once people are booked on the cruise, then we'll give them all the information how to register, and then they can see all the optional shore excursions that are available, and they can plan their cruise that way. Part of what we do, which you already know, is we handhold everybody through the entire process, how to download the apps, when to check in, all of that, so that they're ahead of the game when we get to the ship itself. And
And
other than that,
it was really a great, very seamless experience. Um, I think all our entire group went on the pre-shop hop. And so we all stayed at the same hotel the night before. We didn't really see too much of each other the night before because everyone's tired from traveling in. But the morning of, you get on the bus, your luggage goes underneath. You get to shop and experience some local shops, get your goodies, and shove anything sharp in your carry-on luggage. And then you just walk on the boat. Everything's ready for you. If you have mobility issues, Ray and John make sure you have what you need to be able to get around the boat. There are a lot of people puttering around in scooters. I shouldn't say puttering around. They're actually going quite fast in the scooters to
Oh yeah.
get where you need to go. Because there is a lot of walking on a cruise ship, which I appreciated a lot. I love getting in all those extra steps, but I know that that can be intimidating for some people, and I don't want you to think you can't go, because that's a problem, because you absolutely can go. There's so many people who use scooters to get
Yeah.
to and from.
And we can usually assist if you don't have a scooter for yourself, but you think you need one for on board the ship, we can help take care of that as well.
Mhm.
It's just about cruising is about what's good for you and to enjoy. And it's about because you're spending time with Miss Stephanie.
Mhm.
And Stephanie will have a special project just for the cruise.
I will. So I can talk about it now.
Go for it now.
All right, I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see what I am looking at. So you're going to see Ray and John's lovely faces for a
Oh,
second
bye
here.
bye.
Or actually, here we go. Adobe Illustrator will share that directly. So this is the project that I have put together. Ignore the Allison Glass sun print. I just have a ton of that in my stash, so I thought that that might be a fun one for me to do my sample in, but you can do whatever you want. There's no requirement in terms of what fabric you use, but this is what we're going to do is a 60-degree masterclass. And this looks intimidating until we break it down. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with just plain old diamonds. We're going to go over how to cut them, the ruler we need to use in order to make it work correctly, because different types of rulers cut different sizes and then they don't go together quite the way you intended them to. So we're going to be using the Clearview triangle ruler for this. If you have followed me for any length of time, then you probably already have one of these. And it's not a very expensive tool. And I have dozens of patterns that utilize this technique. So it's not like you're going to buy a ruler one time and then you never use it again. I have so many patterns that you guys can use this ruler with. But we're going to start with simple diamonds. And what we do when we put this together is we cut our diamonds. And so here's our one big diamond. And then we're going to sew this triangle to a small diamond, or and then this triangle to this section, and that gives us this area here. And then we're going to able to attach it in much the same fashion to the larger diamond, and that gives us a wedge. And when you do diamonds like this, we do it without any Y seams. And I bet Ray and John don't know what a Y seam is, but it's a very naughty word in the quilting world. It can be a really intimidating stitch. But what we do here is we are able to do it where we just make the block 1/2 at a time. So what'll happen is we will take all of this and we will make one entire row. Like this will be one entire row put together. And then we're going to join it in order to make our second row and complete this. And this will end up being a table runner. So it's not going to be anything too large. We'll start with all diamonds, and then we're going to move to triangles. And then we have a block that combines all of it where we can be super fancy. And none of this is too small either. These bigger blocks here are 5 inches. Actually, I think they finished 4.5 inches. We cut them at 5 inches in order to get this height here. And so it's nothing too tiny in terms of the size we're going to be looking at. Like these will be at about 3 inches that we're going to be cutting. And in one day, we'll be able to do one of these guys. And then in another day, we'll be able to do one of these. And then in our little bits of time that we carve out, that's when we're going to work on putting it all together to create all the other bits and bobs to go together. But it all builds on each other. It's like when you do, math in school, it all builds on first you learn your addition, then you learn your subtraction, and then from there you can learn multiplication. This is not that different, where we learn our diamonds first, then we add in our triangles, which become diamonds, and then in the end, we're able to create something like this that looks super fancy and complicated, but really is not bad at all. This unit here is the same as this unit here. And this unit here, same as right here. So it's not really that bad once we pull it all out and break it all up. And you can see that it all kind of goes the same. Like here is a diamond that we've put together here. And then here's another one with the diamond and the two little triangles. So the concepts are the same, but you can make it look super, super fancy as you work with it.
Beautiful.
And I believe it'll be fat quarter friendly. I just designed it tonight, so who knows. But Grandma, Gail, it is not going to be hard. We're going to walk you through it, and you're going to have me for a whole week straight to make sure that you are able to make that work and get your points where they need to be.
And they're not going to have to complete the whole thing, right?
No, they don't. Absolutely not. If you let me share again. If you are able to complete this block, just even half of it, if you can complete half of this block and you can complete half of this block, then you have all the skills you need to do everything else. Because this is just all a combination of triangles and diamonds. Because it's me. We got to have one where we're going to show off. And so that's our center block. But I've broken it out here to kind of show how the different blocks work. So this is half of one block, the diamond block. This is half of our triangle block. And then this is our combo, let's put everything together block. So that's what we're going to be working on.
Wow, John, you're going to have to try this.
You might.
Right after you do applique.
Very good.
All right. I see John is sending me stuff in the chat. Chat is
that's been taken care of.
Okay, good deal. I thought I missed it.
Yep.
All right. Let me stop my share and get back where we were.
Oh. Do we have any questions for the cruise or for your project?
We might have to have you guys just pop on real quick for our Saturday night or Friday night too, just to say hi.
Okay.
Because we have a pretty regular crowd over there.
Absolutely.
Oh, it looks like I've convinced Grandma Gail that it'll be okay. We'll walk you through it.
Grandma Gail, just come on board because we'll walk you through everything. It'll be very easy.
Monica, the fabric requirements will be available ahead of the cruise. I just designed this today, so I don't have them just yet. But my guess is that it's going to be fat quarter friendly and it's going to be a good stash buster. So you don't necessarily have to do everything ahead of time. And we'll do our cutting on the cruise because that's a big component of it. If you cut wrong, that's where you can start to have issues. We've got one for you guys. Is there a deposit we can make for the cruise or do we have to pay in full?
You can make a deposit to hold your stateroom and then final payment will be due 90 days prior to departure. If you wish to make monthly payments, we can do that. You just let us know, or you just wait until we notify you with the final payment due date and invoice saying when we're going to be processing it. So a deposit holds your place.
And if they make a deposit by Thursday, they get something special, right?
I think so. That's right. They get a discount of $100 per person off their cruise fare.
So that's pretty good. So that means you and your guest, so whoever comes with you, says a lot of folks, the retreat is a separate item. It's basically like an excursion, but on the boat. And so if you're bringing a significant other with you or a sibling that does not quilt, then they don't have to pay for the retreat at sea. They can just have their fare.
And in addition to them having access to you during the retreat, for those that are not going to be doing the retreat part as it, they still have access to you because we have the nightly group dining every night and then some meet and greets that you do during the trip where it may be that one day we're not we're in port, there's no class or anything like, and you come back and you want to meet up in the Sky Lounge for an hour just to chit chat, and if somebody wants to bring hand sewing and things like that, that is something that happens a lot as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Um, Monica asked about insurance, and there is insurance. I just want to make sure that that is said online for anybody who's listening but doesn't read the comments. You guys want to explain how that works?
Go ahead, John.
Travel insurance is offered for US citizens only though. And with travel insurance, the initial cost is for the cruise, and then anything else that you add on it, like airfare, if you want to add that onto it, you can do that. And then your travel insurance takes care of per person, medical wise, up to $30,000 per person if there's an emergency.
And to add to that, anything else that you purchase, let's say you've purchased the retreat, that can be added to the cost as well. And if you should have to cancel, that's when you can claim to get your cost, what you've paid, back to you.
And I will tell you, I did not get insurance last time because I figured I'm going on this cruise one way or
That's
another.
right.
And I'm young. I don't, get too sick. I'll be fine. Well, the week before I went on, I was doing a big gardening project and I got two really nasty spider bites that got infected. And I ended up having to go to sick bay. And I think I had a 300 and some dollar bill to get two antibiotics. And so that is, I wish I would have had travel insurance when that happened. So, you never know what it could be. And I would highly recommend doing that. I've got to talk to you guys about making sure I have it this time around because
Yep.
especially with the kids, you never
Absolutely.
know. But
Absolutely.
we also have a question on if there are cabins for singles, and there are. They cost more, right? But we had some people last time who were paired up with roommates, and they
Yes.
became like lifelong friends, I think.
They came out offline. When you inquire with us, we'll send you information and then a link to the Facebook group where a lot of updates are in, and that's also where you can share that you're looking for a roommate. We also have other ways to bring the single occupancy price down uh, if you are traveling by yourself, and it's utilizing our own special group pricing.
Ray, they're asking if you could turn your volume up at all.
Yeah. John, go ahead and say that again, maybe then, because I don't know what's going on with mine.
Oh, it was legible. You could have heard it too.
Yes.
So single occupancy will always have on cruise lines an additional cost. However, if you communicate directly to us, we find ways that we can get around that.
Yes.
It's more beneficial for you.
More
We had
beneficial for you compared to was it 100% total on top of it that the cruise line,
150%. Yeah,
Yeah. But we have
that's what
ways
the
around that.
cruise lines do.
we did have two last time where they became very good friends over the course of the cruise and getting to know each other beforehand. And they really had a blast together, and they did not know each other prior to the cruise. They got matched up kind of like freshman year in your college dorm, and they had a
Yeah.
blast. And
And
absolutely,
how we did that was when they inquired, they said they were looking for a roommate. So we said we don't have a roommate. Anybody looking for a roommate at this time, we'll just keep your name and then send in your registration. And then once we have somebody, what we do is we introduce you via email. Once you guys go back and forth, talk to each other, maybe give each other a call or FaceTime or whatever the case may be. And if you feel comfortable enough that you want to be roommates, then you tell us, and then we start processing your reservations. So we will let you know if we do have anybody looking for a roommate, but we will not match you up. We leave that up to you guys.
you're not res life. You're not going to make it work for everybody. Jan wants to know if the single person would have a window.
It'll be up to you. You have an option if you want inside stateroom, which is one that does not have a window, or an ocean view, which has a picture window, or a veranda, which is just another word for a balcony. So it's up to you which stateroom category you wish to travel in as a single.
And Chantel and I were in the one with, it wasn't a porthole window, but it was a smaller window. We didn't have a veranda, and that was fine. You're barely in your room. You're always out and about doing other stuff and hanging with a group or catching a show. Um, it was a lot of fun. I kind of like being lower. It was like being rocked to sleep like you're a little baby.
Oh,
It was
jeez.
lovely.
You-
Even
You're not
though
going to have
Rusty,
you're not going to have
Not,
seats on the inside passage like you
yeah,
did
like that. No.
transatlantic. Trust me,
no,
that
I'm not
rocking
gonna
will
get
be
rocked to
far little
sleep.
than this one.
You won't be
I'm not gonna
rocked
get
to
rocked to sleep
sleep.
this time.
No.
That's
No.
too bad because that was quite nice. But
You may be rocking children to sleep.
Yeah.
hopefully not. They're a little old for that. But
Any other
I did tell them
questions?
there was a couch in the room if anyone wanted to sleep on that. So I think they might fight over who gets to sleep on the couch. I think that's gonna happen. We're gonna have to trade.
Why? They turn into beds.
I know, but they don't.
Depending on the stateroom.
They're goofy.
Okay.
They're goofy. They love each other and they hate each other, and you never know which one you're gonna get. But they behave better in public, so they should be fine for all of you guys. And then when we get to the stateroom, they're going to drive me insane, and then I'm going to be really excited to go to class.
There's going to be plenty of them for things for them to do. You're going to be wondering where your kids are because they're not going to want to come back.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
This is a good one. So tipping the help, that is all included, right? In the beverage package and in our
Yeah.
stateroom costs and things like that.
That is correct. In the exclusive group pricing that we're giving you, gratuities or tipping is included for housekeeping for everything that's on board the ship. Now, if there's somebody that goes way above and beyond and you want to give them a little extra, you can do that. But it is included in the fare that you're purchasing.
The other thing that was really nice, back to that beverage package, is I've heard of cruises where you just get nickel and dimed on all the things, coffee, every Coke you drink, every water bottle you get. And with that beverage package, it's all included up to $10. And so if say you want a drink that's $12, then you're only paying $2. You're not paying, 10 or the whole 12. And so it really, and they work with you. If you're like, I want whatever you can get for the $10 package, they're like, yeah, here's what we'll give you. And like there were mornings where I would just go with Chantel and go like sit and sew in the solarium, which was by the pool, and just watch out the water while we're in a nice warm area sewing our little hearts out. It was lovely. But, it was morning and I wasn't ready to like start drinking yet. And so I would be like, can I just have a mocktail? Just surprise me. And they always came back with something fun.
Yeah, that's what they do. I mean, you'll find that the crew could try to go above and beyond. It's about making sure that you're having a good time. And speaking about the beverage package, and it's a good point that you brought up. It is $10 per serving for your beer, wine, spirits, and things like that. And it's unlimited. So, yeah. And you have an option to upgrade it to premium if you'd like, but we always suggest that you wait until you get onto the ship to check to see if what your favorite beverages is available in the package or something that is just as good as it before you upgrade. Because what we try to do is try not to have you spend so much money that you don't need to spend.
Yeah. The price that they quote you is going to be the price. Now, of course, there's lots of things you can spend your money on once you get there. But as far as sewing machine, it's provided. You don't have to bring a sewing machine at all.
You don't have to bring a sewing machine. You don't have to bring an iron. We supply the irons, and the irons are only allowed to be used during the classroom times, but we provide all of that too.
We should have lots of classroom time where I'm there and we get irons.
Yes.
But what I'm doing here, a good seam roller will get you 90% of the way there. And so that'll be helpful too. You know what we should also do? We should see if the spa can come, how they have different areas that they're going to be throughout the day. They need to make sure they come down to our section like twice. to do the sample massages because they will book it. There
Oh,
will be
that's right.
people who are
They do
like, I'm
sample
so
massages.
sore, I want a massage. But then everybody can get a sample massage at least twice. We need to see if we can get that to happen because
Yeah,
they're
they
good.
do that. They do
They're
do
We'll
that,
look
really
at that.
Yes. You'll just find them all over the boat, and then you're like, okay, yeah, I'll book a massage because that was really nice.
I remember when you did that.
I did definitely do that, and then I had to pay for my really expensive.
Port days is when they always give you good deals.
Oh, I know, right? Oh goodness. But
No more questions?
any more questions? I'm super excited about it. I think it's gonna be a blast. Alaska is one of those bucket list trips, and everyone wants to go to quilt shops in Alaska. And one
Yeah.
of the places that's on my must visit list for Vancouver, it looks like it's a chain store in Canada, like a Joann's, but instead of having Joann's quality fabric, they have quilt shop quality fabric in there, but they also have higher end quality materials for all the things, knitting, fine art, all of it. And so I think that that is going to be really exciting to see because it seems like it's just going to be this, like, hopefully I'm not disappointed, but it looks like it's going to be this really cool, magical place to go check out where you can get good quality everything. So I'm very excited about that store.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you mentioned you know these stores, so this is good. But yes,
Yeah.
everybody gets to sew on a sewing machine.
Now we got Loves to Garden has got a bucket list trip for her. What is the deposit? Or does it vary based on what stateroom you choose?
Yeah, the deposit is 750 per person. Final payment due is 7 April.
Okay.
And 300 of that 750 is non-refundable. So that's why you'll get an automatic travel insurance quote. You don't have to get it. You don't have to purchase it through us, but we offer it and we will send that to you when you do your deposits. And we send the invoice to you that of what you've paid.
We have a question of, is there a timeliness to book / reserve a stateroom? And I think that answer is yes, right?
Yes, yes. And if you want to take advantage of the $100 discount per person, you have until when was it?
Thursday.
Thursday.
I think it might be Fabricana. I don't know for sure. I'll have to check my notes. We've got someone asking on that. But the reason why people want to book early is because this cruise is different than others, right? People tend to book much earlier than, say,
Yes,
a
they do.
Caribbean cruise.
Alaska right now is the time where people are booking for Alaska.
Yeah.
And Alaska usually books up by January, the latest. That's when you cannot find many staterooms available.
So we'll definitely want to jump on that if that's something you want to do.
Fabricania, it's in Quilt, British Columbia, Canada.
Let me see
So
if I can.
I have to add that to the tour.
I'm looking at Quilt Shops Vancouver. I know I sent it on my list of things to you.
Yeah, there's one in Richmond, which is that area.
I'll have to look at it.
No worries.
I don't remember off the top of my head. This has been a little bit since we started talking about that one. But
Okay. John, you have anything else to say?
That's it.
Cool.
all
We have the
right.
link. We have the link to the flyer inside the chat box. I'll also put a link to the online booking form.
I think I have one in the video description as well. Let me double check and I can add it if we don't. Yes, in the video description, it says learn more about the cruise and sign up to get more information at this link.
Awesome.
You can also get it there.
Cool beans. I'm still jet lagged from Egypt.
Yeah, the guys just got back from Egypt. I mean, you've done so many of these cruises with quilters, and it really is just, it's a blast. It's a lot of fun, and there's so many good stories, not just from me. But you've also been with, you want to talk about some of the other folks that you've gone with, just so that people know that this is like a legit thing.
Oh, we've done cruises for Just Get It Done Quilt, Karen Brown, as well as Cindy Rang and Brianna Motzkis with the Fabric Patch. We've done a couple of museum tours as well, museum cruises where we've our people, all the different quilters have come to support a museum. So we do have a lot of repeat customers. The trip that we just came back from, Egypt and Jordan, there was no sewing on that. It was all quilters and their families that come together because they enjoyed traveling with us and they wanted to see Egypt and Jordan. And because we were doing it, they came along. And it was the first time that all our different groups, different personalities, influencers, all of a sudden all their followers started mixing together, which was really neat to
That's fun.
see. Yeah.
How many people will be in the group? We have a max, don't we?
Yeah, and that's a max for
Of
the
sewers.
classroom,
Yeah.
correct? So your max for the classroom is going to be either 25 to 30
Okay.
because for so and to be able to be part of the class, of course, you have to be booked on the cruise, deposited on the cruise, because once we hit the final number, 25 or 30, we will notify everybody that you can still come on board the cruise, enjoy the nightly group dining with Stephanie, as well as doing the meet and greets, still be able to do the optional shore excursion in Juneau, as well as the uh, cruise tour, but you won't be able to go to the classroom because we limit the classroom size so that
Everybody
we
gets
have more,
attention.
everybody has it. Yeah, exactly.
I want to make sure that I can, when I'm teaching, I am in constant motion. I do not stop moving. I'm constantly going around and seeing how everyone is doing. I typically will demonstrate on your guys' projects so that I'm not taking up a sewing machine. And, I make sure that you guys know what you're doing. You got all the steps that you need to do for it. It's like the video, but I'm there with you to help you troubleshoot if something doesn't go the way it's supposed to go.
And you do it very well. We've experienced it and seen it.
Everybody had a great time.
Yeah.
I did a triangle masterclass just with 45-degree triangles. Um,
They
when
were
and
afraid of that too.
they were, but oh my gosh, I remember people who were like, I have never had points this good. Never. And so this honestly to me is easier because there's no squaring up of anything. Um, and the bias we're going to make work in our favor. And so you're going to learn how to fudge it, which is my favorite quilting term that exists, is just fudge it.
Budget.
But let's see, they found the link, but not this cruise specifically. So let's just pop that in. Just so that they have it. And when you sign up for more info, it doesn't like mean you have to do it. It just means
No,
that
we're gonna
they're
send
going to
you
contact you.
information.
Yeah. Mhm.
We do everything by email, and you'll notice that. And that is the best way to contact. And we usually respond within 24 hours or less because sometimes we may be traveling and escorting the other groups, but we find that it's much easier, and then people have the answer in front of them instead of doing it via the phone. But of course, if you need to call us, there's a telephone number there. But if you go
You're
onto the link, what am I?
no, they're going to get sick of our communications.
Yeah,
They
we
will
do
get tired of all the
communicate. We
emails
do
that we
communicate
send.
a lot. Yeah.
We, trust me,
I will,
when we talk about communicating, when you send us an email, another email gets back to you. When you make a deposit, an acknowledgement gets sent to you. When we receive the receipts from the cruise line, um, and we're ready to send out your invoice and your travel insurance quote, that goes out to you. So constant communication is what you get from us all the time, and you will get tired of it. But
There were a
please don't
couple.
unsubscribe or you'll never get the emails and
Yeah,
you'll be
because
lost.
there's a lot of informational emails that as we get closer, especially once we hit the 120-day mark prior to departure, 90 days is when the final payment is done, and then we start doing Zoom calls like this where you'll actually interact with us on the Zoom calls. We will go over everything about the cruise, the shore excursions, the how airports, taking care of flights. We can take care of all of that for you. But if you decide to do it on your own, we will give you when you need to be there, what time you need to be there. Uh, you will have plenty of information. You will know what to do and not be lost anywhere because we give all of that information and we do a minimum of 4 Zoom calls like this with you up until a week before we depart.
There were a
And then
couple of
we
times last time where I was asking Ray a question. He goes, "Oh dear, Stephanie, in your email,"
Dear Stephanie.
and it's there. It's
True.
all there.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
we'll
we
communicate. We even communicate with you when we're on the ship, when we all arrive in Vancouver. It'll be welcome to Vancouver, and then there'll be hot little outlines of little important information that you need to know that you'll have. So it's John is correct. We do communicate a lot, but people seem to eventually appreciate that because once they're on the ship, they're like, "Well, that was easy." Okay, so
Well, and also
there,
you have something that you can look back to. If you've got it on your phone, you can just like,
yeah,
search for them and then you can find what you need. I find it very helpful. I'm not like a huge big advanced planner. I know what I need to know when I need to know it, which is usually 24 hours before I need to do the
mhm,
thing. And so that's kind of how I roll. But I appreciate that it's all there for me and I don't have to go digging for it.
yes,
So
I remember
we
that.
do not like you standing in line. And matter of fact, if you there's only one reason you stand in line, and that is if you made a shore excursion yourself um on the ship or prior to the ship and we couldn't get time to cancel it, then you'll have to stand in line for that. That's the only thing. Anything else you come to us regarding the ship so that we take care of it, because if we see you standing in line for something other than that, we're going to ask you why. Why are you wasting your time doing that
Yeah.
when we're here for you? So
Well, not
that's
only
what we're
that,
here for.
we prepare you so much in advance that you have all that information and you don't need to stand in line. And usually if we see you standing in line, we'll come up and say, "You okay? You okay? What's going on?" Okay. And then it's just like usually, "Yes, we're okay. It's just we forgot to do something." I said, "Oh yeah, we can't help you with that." But yeah, for those that have never been on a cruise, do not worry about it. Because one of our mottos is when you travel with us, you don't travel alone. And in the other case there, you will be prepared. We have people, our oldest customer was 92
7.
or 97. And Celebrity Cruises, who we use, that's who's on this, that we're using on this cruise, has a mobile app. And we were told by 45 people, "Well, I don't do mobile apps." And guess what? 45 people did mobile apps and everything was fine. And they did their online check in because we take the time to explain how to do things so that you know how to do it. And that's why when we get to a port, normally our group usually just walks right by and all the other people that are standing at the counters.
and it really is a nice boat. Like I haven't been on this one specifically, but the one that I was on, it's not crowded. They're not packing you in like sardines. It's you have your own space. It's not like the pool is bananas. Like
Yeah.
you're there, you're enjoying yourself, and it's great.
Passports. That's a good thing, John. You will need a passport for this because we are leaving from Vancouver and returning to Vancouver, British Columbia. And so we will always suggest that if you don't have a passport, apply for it now so that you're not rushing. Did we have people in the past do it at the last moment for the Panama Canal cruise? We sure did. We always say, do what you can now so it's relaxed, especially those here in the US, because we do get people that travel with you from outside the country. So people in the US, they've made the Department State department has made it easier for you because you can do it online now, and you don't have to go to the post office like we used to have to do it in the old days. Do everything in the post office. Get
That's for
everything.
renewals.
Yeah.
That's for renewals. If
Just,
it's a
for
brand new
renewals.
one, you do need to go.
Okay.
And I will say it's taking a little bit longer. I think it's been at
Yeah.
least months since I brought my girls in, and we've gotten our documents back, but we have not gotten the passports yet. So,
How long
um,
has it been?
about 2 months.
Yeah, that's about right. You should be getting it
And
anytime then.
but when I got mine, I did the rush on it, and it came when it was supposed to come. So it does work.
And-
But if you don't want to have to be in that situation, pay the extra money.
And getting a passport is a great thing for your next trip.
It was. It
Exactly.
was. I'm good to go now.
All right.
Alrighty.
Well, we're almost at an hour.
We
10
are.
minutes less than an hour.
Any other questions from anyone? Driving to British Columbia, what do you do with your vehicle while you're on the cruise?
They have parking at the port. And we'll supply all that information to you as we get closer.
Good deal.
All right. So I hope y'all come and enjoy a cruise with us to Alaska.
It'll be
Or
so
say
much fun.
they call it the last frontier still.
All right. Well, thank
That's
you
it.
all so much for joining us for this hour. Hopefully we'll see some of you also in Alaska. That will be absolutely so much fun. And if you guys want to pop in on Friday too, you see a few more people there just for a little bit at the beginning. You can give your
Okay.
elevator pitch.
Remind us.
Yes, I will. You have to stay up late. We start at 9:30 Central. But
Oh, that's 10:30 at night for us.
you come on for 15 minutes, give your elevator.
That's prime TV time.
Okay. No problem.
You'll live.
We can do that.
You know, there's this thing called the DVR and Netflix, and you can watch things whenever you want to watch them.
I know, and you watch them all after one another. Oh, by the way, we'll be leaving on Monday for 5 days on the Celebrity Reflection, the sister ship of the Solstice.
So you'll
Going
kind
to
of
Key,
know what it's
go to
like.
Key
Be fun.
West, yeah. Go to Key West and the Bahamas.
We'll have fun with that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Thanks,
righty.
everybody.
Bye, guys.